Could somebody please make it make sense?
Hey everybody, welcome to A Pop of Culture. I'm your host, the Esoteric and Facetious, and this is A Pop of Culture, which is my video essay podcast where I speak on pop culture, social justice, and human experience from a Black, bisexual, millennial perspective. Everything, and I mean everything I say, should be taken with a grain of salt, as I'm simply a recent college grad with access to a recording device and the internet. With that being said, my shouldn't be your sole reason to critique my views unless it's truly relevant. If you disagree with anything I say, let's have a civil conversation in the comment section below. Before we get into the topic of this video, which is why Monique and Will Smith scare me, I want to advertise my cover channel, Pop of Culture Sings, where I sing throwback R&B, contemporary R&B, pop music, whatever I'm feeling, whatever you're feeling. So if you want to be down like Brandy, if you're down with the click RP Aaliyah, then definitely feel free to check that channel out. I'm uploading a cover of Tender Kisses very soon. Gotta listen to it, make sure it sounds right, because you know the people will clock me, so stay tuned for that. Now let's get into the topic of this video. Today, as I mentioned, I'm going to be talking about why Monique and Will Smith scare me. So if you haven't heard, Monique is in drama yet again. She's had some drama with 𝘎𝙪𝙗𝙨𝙘𝙧𝙀, I believe that's how you say his name. They were doing a show together and there were some disagreements about how things were going to be done, and she got on stage and said a lot of different things. And watching her have this fit, have this outburst on stage, something clicked in me. And it's the same thing that clicked in me when I was watching Will Smith and the famous slap. And it was this realization I had. I'm a young person, I'm very driven, I'm very goal oriented, and I've always had this thought process. I feel a lot of us have had this thought process put in us where we work towards our goal, we accomplish our goal, we achieve that goal, the American dream. If you're from the US, we work towards achieving this quote-unquote American dream for ourselves, and then our life is supposed to just fall in line. We're just supposed to work towards our dream, work towards that career, work towards that, and we'll meet someone, we'll have kids, house, all the other stuff, and things will just fall in line. And the thing that I've realized through people like Will Smith and people like Monique is you can be talented, you can work towards that success, you can work towards that success in your career, and you can have that success in your career. But it's not necessarily going to mean everything else in your life is going to fall into place. You would think Will Smith being at the height of his career, you would think on that evening being nominated for an Oscar, he's dressed in a nice suit, groomed, put together, his whole family's groomed, put together, networking, interacting with all these other people in the industry. You would think that he would be on cloud nine. You would think that that whole joke with Jada, you would think that that whole situation couldn't get him off cloud nine because I'm nominated for an Oscar. This is my night. This is my award to win. I've had the successful career that I've worked towards, and I've actually been able to benefit from things. Like, there's so many talented people who don't get these opportunities, but I've been able to break through. I've been able to become one of the most paid, most popular actors in Hollywood as a black man. I've been able to have this beautiful family. I've been able to do all these things that I'm supposed to do. Even though he's done all these things, even though he's accomplished all these things, unlike that narrative I feel a lot of us have been sold of, if you work hard and you work towards your goals, you can achieve those things and things will fall in line. We're seeing with Will Smith, things didn't necessarily fall in line for him, and he clearly is somebody who has a lot of stuff he's dealing with internally. Obviously, I'm not a psychiatrist, but there's something within him that caused that outburst where he was willing to go on stage and slap somebody. And similarly with Monique, there was clearly something within her where she couldn't professionally handle the situation. So going back to the topic of this video, the reason why Will Smith and Monique scare me is they really challenge this narrative that I feel like I've internalized, this American dream narrative of, oh, if you follow your dream, if you work hard, if you do what you're supposed to do, things are just going to fall in line in your life. And the thing I'm realizing is, if you work towards your goals, you can achieve and accomplish the goals you have for your life. But the thing I'm realizing is there's also that piece when it comes to your mental health and your well-being and healing from certain traumas. Because with Will Smith and with Monique, what we're seeing is these people, they're talented, they've been able to have all the success in their life, but because they're not really seeming to address those issues within, they're not really getting that peace. Because I feel like if Will Smith had that peace within, nothing could have stopped him from having the night that he wanted at the Oscars. If Monique had the inner peace, then she wouldn't have went on stage and said all those things that she did. But because they don't have that inner peace, I feel like that unresolved trauma, that unresolved issues that they have within, it's showing up, and their success isn't necessarily canceling it out. I feel like that's something that I'm realizing in this whole conversation. I feel like a lot of us feel like, oh, well, if we get this accolade, if we get this degree, if we get this job or this salary, then other things in our life will fall in line because we got that accomplishment. But the reality is those accomplishments are great, and those accomplishments can contribute to us having the life we want to have. But if we don't deal with that mental health or those unresolved issues, then those unresolved issues issues will rear their ugly head when it comes to our success and when it comes to our career. And that's what we're seeing with Monique, and that's what we're seeing with Will Smith. Their talent couldn't counteract those issues within. So it's like, no matter how talented you are, if you don't resolve those other issues, it's going to impact those other aspects of your life. And I think that that's something that I feel like we as Black people will have to realize and work through. I think a lot of Black people, we get this idea of working towards our career, especially if you're someone who's in sports or academia or in entertainment. There's this idea of working. And even with the Jacksons, people talked about Joe Jackson abusing his children, and then I believe there was a time that he said something along the lines of, they can cry themselves to the bank, or something implying that because they got financial success and because they got careers and because he helped them to build wealth for themselves, that somehow the emotional abuse and or neglect that they may have had to deal with, that it didn't matter. But the thing we're seeing with Monique, the thing we're seeing with Will Smith is you can't beat that trauma. You can't beat those unresolved emotions or mental health struggles. And one of the things I find interesting is I remember seeing this clip where Willow was talking about how she would used to self-harm, and her and Jada were talking about it. I believe it was on the Red Table Talk, and I just found it very interesting because one of the things you would see a lot in the Black community is this idea of generational wealth and working, and you work so that your children don't have to go through what you went through and struggles and stuff like that. And it's like, Will Smith, I'm sure he's provided all of this for Willow financially, but clearly there were things going on with Willow, and I'm not saying that they're Will or Jada's fault, but it's just interesting to me that there's traumas he's clearly going through as a grown man, and there's stuff that Willow was going through as a teenager. I'm not saying, like I said, that it's due to him or connected to him, but it's just interesting to me because he's probably provided very well for her financially, where she can probably do whatever she wants, but clearly emotionally there's stuff that's going on with her. And like I said, it's not Will's fault, but it's just interesting to me because I feel like sometimes with Black celebrities there's all this generational wealth, but I question, like, do people really reflect on making sure that their children have emotional stability in the way that they have financial comfort? Because it's great if your child doesn't have to pay a dime out of pocket when it comes to them paying for college, if they don't have to worry about paying for a house when it's time for them to move out of your house, but are they going to have the emotional skills, the emotional maturity to handle life as they should? So that's why Will Smith and Monique scare me, because I'm just realizing there isn't this hard work your way into comfort and into, I guess, the good life. Even looking at the Kevin Hart documentary, I remember watching _8's video on Kevin Hart's documentary. They talk about how hard Kevin Hart is working and how hard he's working and how much he's been able to accomplish, but that doesn't necessarily cancel out some of the issues he had with his wife because of the alleged affair, and just the effect that him being so committed to his work had on his family and his home life. I remember the Beyonce interview about the national anthem controversy, and her talking about how she dances until her feet bleed, like she's someone who will go that hard with rehearsals and stuff. I think that's great, and that's great as a performer to work very hard, but I do feel like sometimes we, especially like Black people, we can like internalize this concept of working to get ourselves to a level of financial comfort where we can buy whatever we want, do whatever we want. But like I said, I feel like we don't focus as much on getting that emotional comfort and emotional fulfillment. Especially with Black people on reality TV, it's something I find very interesting because you can watch shows like that Mary reality show, you can watch the Braxtons, and you can see with a lot of Black people, they can have all the success, they can have all the money, but some of those same issues that Black people with way less money, emotionally, it's all the same. Now, of course, it's different because obviously when you go to Black people with less money, there's also a lot of socioeconomic struggles. Like there's a lot of issues when it comes to accessibility and affording things. But when it comes to emotional issues, when it comes to maybe like childhood trauma, when it comes to fulfillment out of life, there are certain things money can't necessarily buy. And so you can see certain trends where Black people, no matter whether they have money or not, they have certain traumas or struggles that they may have not personally worked through. So that's why Monique and Will Smith scare me, because I think for me as a young person, I'm realizing I can't just work my way into a job position or a salary or a certain amount of success and have everything fall in line. If I want everything to fall in line, I have to do the work when it comes to healing from certain traumas, building up my emotional maturity so that I can handle certain situations and be who I need to be in certain relationships and things of that sort. I'm just realizing you can't work your way into all the comfort of life. You can work your way into financial stability, financial comfort, into like, I guess, being debt free and, you know, having multiple streams of income, but you can't hard work your way out of certain traumas and things you've been through, and they will catch up to you, especially with Will Smith and Monique. Monique, this whole little outburst may cost her future opportunities. So it's like that unprocessed trauma, it can impact your talent, where it doesn't really matter what your talent's looking like, especially with Will Smith too. It doesn't matter how talented they are now, because now that they've shown out, they done shown their tail, now people may not want to work with them like they used to. So all that hard work you put in doesn't matter as much. And that's something I find interesting too. Like I said earlier, you can't beat out that trauma with hard work and just hard work your way into a position where you can do whatever you want, because eventually that unprocessed trauma can impact your bag, where regardless of your talent, people won't want to work with you because that unprocessed trauma may rear its ugly head and ruin the production, ruin the event, ruin whatever those people who you're working with are trying to get out. So I just want to know how y'all feel about this whole conversation. I'm definitely very intrigued, but I'm also just very shook, as they say. I'm just very shook, because I'm just like, I'm really learning as a young person just the importance of just prioritizing mental health and mental well-being, and just doing the work mentally, healing from certain traumas, because like I said, you can't hard work your way out of the trauma. You could be a millionaire, you could be a multimillionaire, and you can be on live television or be at an event based on your talent where you're being booked for gigs, and you can ruin it all because of that unprocessed trauma. I'm just realizing that hard work and that working at your career, working at your craft is important, but it's only half of the puzzle. The other half of the puzzle is just really working through your trauma, working through your mental health, working to get to a place where you're not doing things that are going to harm you in the long run. So those are all my thoughts. Let me know how y'all feel about this whole situation. Let me know if you can relate, if you have any situations with your family members or friends that align with what we're talking about. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Love y'all. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Like this video if you like this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the points I made in the comments below. If you enjoyed this content, definitely like, comment, subscribe, and share. That way, even if YouTube isn't pushing my content, those who resonate with it are sharing it so it can connect with others who would enjoy it. Those are some easy, free ways to support a pop of culture. If you want to support this show financially, feel free to send a tip to my Cash App or buy me a cup of coffee, both linked below. All who donate will be featured in the credits of my long-form commentary and cover videos. There are 2 playlists that are going to pop up, one where you can binge watch my covers and one where you can binge watch my commentary. Enjoy. Bye-bye.